Have you ever had a conversation with someone from a completely different culture? Maybe you met them while traveling abroad, or they were just sitting next to you during class or work. Did you ever find yourself struggling to understand what they really meant, or how you could understand them better? Once, I was eating at a local restaurant when I noticed a group of foreign tourists behind me, and they were speaking and laughing quite loudly. And I noticed a group of people around me were quietly commenting things like, "Where are their manners? They're adults." Or saying harmful stereotypes like, "I bet these guys are Americans. They're so loud." It is clearly obvious that the foreigners did not know that speaking in public is commonly frowned upon when you're speaking too loudly, but also the people around me did not know that it is very normal in other culture. Cross-cultural communication is more than just language. It's about the ability to understand each other's perspectives, values, and ways of thinking. And in today's interconnected world, it has never been more important. Whether in personal interaction, international diplomacy, or the workplace, the ability to communicate effectively across cultures is a skill we all need to navigate the complexities of a global society. But here's the thing, it's not always easy. Hi, my name is Ngoc, and I'm a junior at Concordia International School, and today I'm going to talk to you about something that has become incredibly important: cross-cultural communication. And you might be wondering, why is this such an important topic for a high schooler to talk about? Well, I'm sure many of you have experienced it in some form or another. Whether you've traveled abroad, met a new friend from a different country, or simply just interacted with a classmate from a diverse background. And you might have noticed how these experiences can be both exciting and challenging. But for me, it all started when I moved to Concordia, which has a way more diverse student body than at my old school. And then I started making friends with people from other countries in Hanoi. At first, I was amazed at how much we had in common, despite coming from completely different parts of the world. But soon, I realized that communication wasn't always as easy as it seemed. There were moments where I struggled to understand where my friends were coming from. Small jokes, simple gestures, or even the tone of their voice often created misunderstandings. Sometimes I'd hear them talk to their parents on the phone and think, how do you not get killed by your parents for talking to them like that? Because in my culture, it is very important to talk to your parents in a respectful manner over a friendly one. So this got me thinking. If I, as a high school student, am already navigating these differences, imagine how much more important it becomes in the world beyond. We live in a world where countries, cultures, and people are becoming more and more connected every day, and misunderstandings can happen, and sometimes it feels like we're speaking completely different languages, even if we're speaking the same one. And the ability to understand each other across these cultural lines isn't just useful, it's essential. Effective communication across cultures can transform potential conflicts into opportunities for growth, collaboration, and innovation. So, today, I want to explore why cross-cultural communication is essential not just for us as individuals, but for building bridges for a more peaceful and cooperative world. So, let's begin with the basic. What exactly do we mean by cross-cultural communication? Well, at its core, it's the exchange of information, ideas, and emotions between individuals or groups of people from different backgrounds. And this could be anything from a casual conversation with a classmate to high-level negotiations between countries. But here's the challenge. Different cultures have different ways of communicating. Some cultures prefer direct communications, while others rely more on context. Some cultures value personal space, while others have a way more communal approach to interaction. These differences can lead to confusion, but when understood, they can offer us new perspectives and ways of solving problems. Now, imagine this. This is you, and this is your friend. He or she is from a different country, while you're Vietnamese. And you guys are sitting together eating at a local restaurant when you notice your friend is making these weird requests on how their food should be made. Excuse me? Can I have tortillas instead of bread for my banh mi? Or, can you not put noodles in my pho, please? And you're sitting here, so confused, thinking to yourself, what on earth are they doing? Why are they making these weird requests? And so you say, why are you making these requests? Just have the food as they were meant to be. And then you got your friends confused too. They're wondering what is so wrong with ordering the food how they wanted it to be. Well, I just want to order my food how I want it to eat it. Why is that so wrong? And then you guys keep going on and on and on, disagreeing over this pointless issue. And you're wondering why this small thing is causing so much tension. But instead of getting frustrated or defensive, what if you took the time to understand why this happened? What if you asked your friend about their perspectives and explained why cultural norms shaped your response? Okay, now, think about this happening in a classroom like Concordia, where you have people from many different backgrounds. Maybe you've got a class of 20 students, and each of them brings with a different perspective shaped by their cultures, traditions, and experiences. Imagine if all of those perspectives were recognized, values, and used to solve a problem together. The potential for innovative solutions would be limitless. But let's put this in a broader context. Over the course of your lifetime, it is estimated that you will meet 80,000 people. And here is only 2,080 people, which is around 2.6% of the average number you'll meet in your lifetime. And each of them brings with them a different perspective shaped by their cultures, traditions, and ways of thinking. And there's almost 8 billion people on this planet. And if you take into account of all the interaction you will have in your lifetime, whether it's in person, online, or through work or travel, the potential for cross-cultural communication challenges grows even more. But think about the impact we can leverage when we can converge these diverse perspectives to address the issues such as climate change or global health or even technology. And this is where the diplomacy becomes critical, and it's simply the first solution. Diplomacy is the art of managing relationships between countries and it is built on the principle of understanding and communication. Diplomats are trained to navigate these cultural differences, find common grounds, and to resolve conflict through peaceful dialogue. Think about it in a classroom here. We have students from all over the world. You name it, Vietnam, Korea, US, Spain, the list goes on and on and on. We have 30 nationalities represented on this very campus. Many of us might want to study abroad, maybe join international organizations, or even work for multinational companies. And this is exactly why the ability to communicate across cultures becomes so important. The better we understand each other, the more smoothly these international relationships will go, whether they're personal, academic, or professional. Because we are also diplomats in our own environment, and we can act as bridges between cultures, learning how to navigate these differences to build relationships that promote peace. And the second solution is through the law, especially international law, which relies heavily on cross-cultural communication. Think about the global treaties and agreements that exist today, such as those that exist for climate change, human rights, or trade. Countries with very different legal systems need to find common grounds to cooperate on these issues, and this requires a deep understanding of each other's values and legal norms. A great example of this is the United Nations Declaration of Human Rights. The UNDHR requires diplomats from diverse backgrounds to find common grounds to balance individual freedom and cultural traditions. For example, some countries emphasize civil rights, such as freedom of speech, while others focuses more on social rights, such as healthcare access. Eleanor Roosevelt played a key role in guiding these discussions, ensuring that the document respected both universal values and cultural differences. The United Nations Declaration of Human Rights, approved by 58 countries in 1948 when it was first created, but now it is approved by 193 countries. And this shows how cross-cultural dialogue can lead to agreements that reflect shared human dignity and cooperation. Without cross-cultural communications, agreements like this would be nearly impossible to reach. The misunderstanding and mistrust between countries could prevent cooperation on global issues like climate change, peacekeeping, or refugee rights. So, how can we, as individuals, get involved in cross-cultural communication? It ranges from student exchange programs to language courses offered inside or outside of school. Events such as cultural days in work or school, clubs such as Model United Nations, where you can place yourself in the shoes of a diplomat and discuss global issues, all facilitate the exchange of understanding and cultures. And these exchanges don't just help us learn more about other culture. They also help us reflect on our own culture, understand our biases, and develop a deeper understanding of how the world works. And in doing so, we become more effective communicators, able to build stronger relationships both at home and abroad. And the beauty of diverse perspectives is that they challenge us to think in new ways, creating more empathetic, flexible, and effective individuals who can navigate an increasingly interconnected world. Another way we can foster cross-cultural communication is through technology. So let's have a raise of hands. Who here has any type of social media? TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, you name it. Well, I'm sure it is not uncommon for you guys to have followed accounts or watch videos from different people and from different countries, right? And in today's world, we have the power of technology at our fingertip, but imagine using these platforms not just for entertainment, but to engage with people from different cultures to learn about their lives, struggles, and perspectives. Today, we have apps that allow us to connect with anyone, anywhere to discuss global issues. Youth-led campaigns such as Fridays for Future, or where students develop actions for climate change, is a prime example on how these platforms connect people from different cultures to create real-world impact. But of course, cross-cultural communication is not without its challenges. We might encounter stereotypes, misunderstandings, or biases, whether we're interacting with people face-to-face or online. These challenges also provide with opportunities. So, what can you do right now? This is where each one of us has the power to make a difference. Through communication, empathy, and understanding, we can turn these cultural differences into strengths and not a source of division. Firstly, we can challenge stereotypes by engaging in open and honest conversations where we actively listen to others' perspectives. Second of all, we can use empathy to understand people's perspectives, even if their values differ from our own, by putting yourself in their shoes and appreciating the context behind their beliefs. And finally, we can foster dialogue as a tool to resolve differences and find shared solutions, creating space for respectful exchanges where diverse viewpoints can converge to create a mutual understanding and cooperation. And as we face an increasingly convergent world, the importance of cross-cultural communication cannot be overstated. Whether through diplomacy, law, or grassroots youth movements, we all have a role to play in building a peaceful, cooperative, and understanding society. And by communicating across cultures with respect and empathy, we don't just build bridges. We create a future where diversity is celebrated, conflicts are resolved through peaceful dialogue, and collaboration becomes the foundation for solving the world's most pressing issues. Thank you.